I have an occasional series where I like to get a guest onto my channel and we sit and have a half an hour chat about something cool in the railway world. So I'm delighted to meet Joe Brown. Hello. Are we allowed to say where we are, first of all?
I don't see why not, yeah.
Tell the viewers where we are.
So we are 7th floor roof terrace Palestra, which is Transport for London's HQ
so
in Southwark.
We're outside on a gorgeous day. So that tall silver building you see outside Southwark Tube Station.
That's the one, yeah.
We're on a roof terrace out there. It's lovely, and we've got trains running down there and a view of London over there, and it's fantastic. And we're here to talk trains and train maps and a few other things over the next half an hour.
Absolutely.
Mainly, I want to talk about your incredible London Atlas. Thank you. Although, like an idiot that I am, I only discovered just this morning that you have other atlases that aren't just London, right? But we'll get to those. But just to say, over the years, you've been so you've worked on the tube, on the underground, in various places.
I have.
What's your potted history?
So, potted history starts 27 years ago. All I'm saying is good skincare. Started as a guard on the Northern Line, so back in the olden days, 1959 tube stock.
With the bar? With the bar that you lift and clunk down?
Yeah, you clunk down.
Amazing.
Little blue pilot light, scream, mind the doors as you shut the doors. Worked on the Northern Line, and then before long, you have the opportunity to go up for motors, as they say. So I went up for motors and became a driver. But yeah, so I do miss driving at times. But it got to a point where I fancied something new, so I became a duty manager trains, which is an on-shift manager of drivers.
Okay.
And I was doing that. So I missed out one little.
That's all right. So, wait, I'm trying to fast forward to the.
Okay.
The books. To the books. Yeah.
Okay.
Go on. You've worked various roles.
Trains, manager. Another manager,
and
then books.
And then the books isn't your main job. It's like I don't want to say hustle. That sounds rude, doesn't it? It's a side project.
It's a hobby.
Was it one of those things? A classic case. It started as a hobby. One night you're like, maybe I should draw a thing, and then it sort of evolved into a life of its own.
It did.
Okay. How did it start?
Okay. Well, actually, you need to rewind pre-London Underground. So I always love railways. Grew up next to the District Line. The trains went past my house. And I always loved the map, and to me it was like a way to combine the two. So the first version,
we are the same then in that respect. Okay, right, okay.
Two peas in a pod.
Yes.
Side by side. So the first incarnation of the London Railway Atlas was traced off the A to Z when I was about 12, and it was.
I did that too.
There you go.
What? I got my old granddad's A to Z, and you drew it out.
Because you could see through to like the lines and the stations.
Well, because on the back of the A to Z, it was the Harry Beck.
Yes.
But inside, your brain started to go, well, hang on, it's not like that. It curves and twists, and so I started to draw it out.
And then you'd start to see a strange curve through the housing where the streets end and a road follows a strange route, and you think, I wonder why that is. And then you start to do your research, and
I love it.
You find, that was this branch line or that curve, and so you start to piece it together. So I traced.
So this was pen and paper. This was
absolutely.
Pre-computers.
Yeah, we're talking like 1990 or so.
Okay.
So I created it, went up on the wall, thought, that's nice, and then I became a teenager, and teenagers do teenage things, and ended up in the bin, sadly.
No.
Yeah. But like what happens.
Your mum didn't keep it?
Well, the sellotape goes yellow and it all falls apart.
Was it A4? Was it bigger?
Oh God, no! It was lots of A4 sellotape.
All stuck together.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was like an absolutely huge rambling, and I kept on adding to it. So it's like, I got to the edge of the map there, but there's an interesting bit there. So then I'd trace another bit and add it on.
Okay.
But anyway, sadly.
But then you became an adult.
Yes.
Well done.
And I was And I was having a conversation with a colleague who said, so they always used to work late shifts, and something that was really important for working the very last trains is to know where the connections are with the other lines, because some interchanges you need to hold to connect, and others you don't. And that was really confusing. I never know where to wait and where not to wait. And I said, wouldn't it be great if someone did a map of the District Line showing all of the last train connections? And I was like, that'd be great, wouldn't it? So
your mind went back to that teenage tracing paper world.
It's like now, with a valid reason for work purposes, I am allowed to draw a map. So I did some research, asked around, what kind of software might a person use if they wanted to draw like a fairly basic tube map style map. And they came back and they said Visio, which is like a pretty bog standard Microsoft, does flowcharts and stuff. So anyway, I used that. I drew the last train's map, and I had like itchy fingers. I was like, oh, I've got this software now. My mind was cast back to...
You're having fun at work.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I know. It's almost like I have like an interest in...
In trains.
Yeah.
Right, go on. So, and your map is being used?
I mean, that was I actually tried to pitch it back then to say, oh, anyone want to use it? And it kind of didn't go anywhere.
Oh, so you didn't get feedback, people going, oh, this is useful? It was
literally the one person, like this driver ended up with it. And
Okay.
we were like, trying to roll it out. This could actually really help people to do their jobs, but nothing came with it. It's fine. But I had the software and itchy fingers, and I was having a conversation with another colleague who was basically saying, oh, I'm really interested, when I see what used to be the remnants of a railway curving off when I'm driving, and I kind of wonder where it went. And it's like, yeah, I used to be really interested in that when I was a kid. And I don't know, it just kind of piqued my interest, like maybe I should have another stab at the London Railway Atlas. And this was...
Yeah, what year was this? When was it?
Well, it was published in 2006.
That's the first edition?
The first edition.
So what edition are we up to now?
Sixth,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been quite a long time in the making. And I think even then it must have been maybe 2003, 2004.
I want to kind of say the publisher is...
Currently Cressy, yes.
And they're the same publishers that do the Baker map, the classic Baker map that everybody
Absolutely,
has.
yes.
So,
yeah.
Which is a gorgeous map. So you were aware of that map as well?
Yeah, so I very much, like Baker inspired me. So I signed up as a child, signed up to this railway book club where you had to like order a certain number of books every month or whatever, and I'd always like buy the latest Baker. Like Baker was always like the Railway Atlas Bible. Everyone swore by it. So Baker
I've got like 10 copies at home, like going back over the years.
Yeah. So it very much inspired me, like that kind of style, the clarity, like how you present it. So I mean Baker very much inspired me. Borrowed upon that. Thought maybe I can add things like the detail of every single track, every single platform, which Baker doesn't give you. And it has evolved, so the very first edition was a much smaller, it was Baker sized, and it didn't show every single platform, every single track. It was very much more in a kind of Baker style, but it showed all of the history. And that's what I was really interested in, trying to capture all of the old stations, the old lines, former names of current stations.
Now, I'm assuming you're not doing it in Visio nowadays.
No.
How is it Illustrator or something else?
I'm using something called Coral Draw, and the only reason why I switched is because for printing it needs to be CYMK.
Sorry, I have to laugh. Sorry, just that, Joe. So I also use Coral Draw.
So there you go.
So I think we are the same.
Probably the last two people on Earth
that use Coral Draw.
Yeah.
Because I used to use it like 20 years ago, and so I've just grown with it. Yeah.
Because once you get used to it, and
But it's like Illustrator, but just with its own. Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be a huge. It's one huge file.
It takes a long time to open.
With like 10,000 objects in it.
Yeah.
How many objects in your file? This is so nerdy. How many objects are in your map?
You know what? I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
But you've got all the layers and everything. So you've got like text layers and lines and station blocks.
I haven't even worked out how to use the layers thing. I'm literally just drawing lines and dropping on text. That's all I'm doing. Probably if I worked out how the software works, I'll make my life a lot easier, but I haven't quite got around to it yet.
So it's just one huge file?
Just one huge file, yeah.
What, and then you export it as a PDF?
Yes.
And then send it to the publisher?
Yeah.
And they then do their magic. I don't know, how do you turn a PDF into like a book? I don't know.
I don't really know. So the entire layout of the page, I do. And then you just put the little data marks, the crosses at each corner, so that they can line it up.
So that's how they know to line it up.
So they don't, I mean, to be fair, I'm probably a dream for them. They don't really need to do much in terms of layout. I'll even take the pictures for the cover, and so it's they don't have to do a huge amount of refining and design. It's pretty much as is. As you look at the pages, that's as I've sent them.
Okay. Now, the one thing that gets me is that with my Baker map, the classic Baker map, I've got several copies, and one copy is my copy for colouring in, right? Because obviously, as you bash the lines, you colour them in. Have you got a version of your London map that's coloured in?
I haven't actually. I mean, it almost feels like I'd be desecrating it to draw the pages.
Well, yeah, but you could just print off like a rough copy on paper.
I could.
But the thing is, this is what gets me, is that it's so detailed, showing individual tracks, right? Does it make you want to start? My worry is that if I started to colour in your map, I'd think, well, I've been on that track in that direction, but I haven't been on that track in the other direction, and then you start to get a bit obsessive.
Well, that's the thing. It's called microgrising. It'll be.
I don't Wait, you've just invented a word.
I haven't. It's a thing.
That's
honestly.
not a word.
It is a thing.
Is that an endearing term?
Yeah, it's not like pejorative or anything. But
Okay.
say if
Microgrising.
microgrising. If there's a tube line closure and they're using a crossover that very, very rarely gets used in passenger service.
Yeah.
So branch line news is a fantastic. It's online or paper, but you have to sign up to be a member. But it just literally blow by blow, everything that's changing out there, not just in London, across the country. Loads of photos. It's great. And it will tell you, oh, there's a micro-grising opportunity on the Piccadilly line.
Because there's a special track, there's a train reversing, like an unusual reversal
that you wouldn't normally do, like on a normal.
And people go and ride it just to bash that.
Go and just to bash that bit of track.
So I fully approve.
Well, there you go. So you could.
But I fully approve.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it because I'm worried that I would get so obsessed about it. I would then spend the next 20 years of my life trying to micro-grise every bit of track back in London.
Yeah. So that would be.
And it's hard enough just trying to tick off all the stations.
Yeah.
That's like okay, all right. Sorry, go on. So you don't bash yourself using your own map?
I don't actually, no. I mean,
you must have been out on the train with your map and been like, oh yeah, I'm here.
strangely, I managed to commit a lot to memory.
Okay.
I'm one of those people. So, yeah, I kind of, I guess after having worked on the Atlas for nearly 20 years, actually, no, to be fair, like when I first picked up the mouse to start drawing it, it would have been pretty much 20 years ago. So after having stared at it for hours and hours and hours, days, weeks probably, it's just all up, not everything, but it's mostly up here now.
Is there like a big poster version of it on your wall at home in your bathroom? Can you get a print put onto a shower curtain so that when you're in the shower you can then stare at your map?
What I wanted to do is actually offer to the public a kind of fold-out version. You know, very much like you would get in modern railways.
Well, hang on, I was just about to say, if Phil's watching, hi Phil, I was just about to say, so Phil, editor of Modern Railways, but maybe it was 2 years ago, about a year ago I think, there was a fold-out, there was a partial insert of your map.
Yeah.
Was that right? What did they do? It was a promotional thing.
Yeah, so it's like the kind of central core section, so it's not the entire extent. And obviously there's a whole, one of the things that I do take pride in is the index at the back. It's not just an index and not just a list of this station's on that page. There's a whole history, so there's so much more detailed in history that you can't just put on the page of the map. So that's in the index. So obviously you miss out on that with the fold out. Right. But I think it's a very visually pleasing thing because I'm so used to seeing it as chopped up pages, but when you splice them all and turn it into a single sheet, it does look good.
So have you got the Modern Railways version on your wall?
I haven't actually. I should get one one framed.
Yeah.
I should, but I haven't.
I'm a bit disappointed in you right now.
Well, you know,
judging you now.
There isn't enough wall space.
Okay, all right. Because you've already got other train stuff on your wall.
There's loads. Yeah. There's all chunks of train and random posters and stuff.
Do you actually prefer the London Overground or proper British Rail, National Rail trains? What's your true love?
A true love.
Or do you simply like buses more than anything else?
Oh, I'm definitely not one of those people.
You don't like buses?
Not that I dislike them, but I don't like.
But trains is your thing?
Oh, trains 100%.
How do you feel about trams?
Trams, I'm a little bit kind of semi-bus.
But trams are on your map because of the Croydon.
Yeah. I mean, anything with rails makes it in. So trams, anything more than a foot gauge as well. There's a little miniature railway somewhere.
I'm just trying to think. It's like the tram depot at Therapia Lane. Is that all on there? Is that all marked on there? Of course. Yeah, but how do you get that level of detail? And is there not any sort of privacy concerns that TfL don't want you publishing the track layout of the Therapia Lane tram depot?
In all honesty, you can go on satellite view and see it for yourself.
But not if there's a building, and I'm just wondering how you've got that correct.
So this is where Quail, thank you very much. Very helpful. So
I don't want to mention Quail. It's like your rival. Don't buy the Quail map. Buy Joe's map. Yeah.
We offer two very different products. But yeah, so I will, and actually often I am also using satellite views because sometimes it's quite hard to tell if things have evolved, what's open, what's closed. So I am using. I'm not a big fan of planes, to be fair.
It's great sitting here, but occasionally planes fly over. Yeah, okay, that's right. We'll just let that pass.
Yeah.
Okay, plane's gone.
Plane's gone.
Quail, reference, satellite, go on.
Yeah, so Quail is an absolutely beautifully drawn diagram of the tracks, whereas what I offer is the geographical layout of everything in relation to each other and the history. So obviously Quail is the as is, and I offer the history of it.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, it's very nice. Now, as I mentioned earlier, on my way here today, I was in the shop the transport was in, and I had no idea. I thought you just did the London one, but I'm wrong. You've done others. So what other products are there?
So it's currently Birmingham and West Midlands, which is, as it says on the tin, Birmingham, West Midlands, kind of Coventry, Stafford, down to Bromsgrove, I think, Droitwich, something like that.
But they've just extended the Birmingham tram, so that'll be a new update.
So it's not opened yet. They are extending to Dudley.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Blackpool. They've extended the Blackpool tram.
Yeah.
Has the Birmingham extension not opened yet?
Not yet, no. There's a couple. So there's one to Edgbaston that has opened, one to Dudley's being built, and I think there's the east side extension to Digbeth, I think. Someone will probably say that's wrong, but there's a couple being built and one that has just opened.
But you've got your Birmingham West Mids one, so that's up to revision what?
2. So 2 came out year before last, I think.
Okay, and you said there's a Liverpool one that's sadly out of print.
Liverpool and Manchester it seemed like a really good idea at the time. It is essentially all of the historic county of Lancashire. It's twice the size of the London book.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It must be, I've not seen it, but I'm thinking that must be horrendously complicated.
And I suddenly discovered there are all of these like coal mines in Lancashire, because I map every single last bit of industrial railway heritage all the way down the Mersey. Like Widnes took me like forever to draw. Yeah. There's just like there was a lot going on. It took me 4 years, and
it took you 4 years to map out Liverpool and Manchester.
Yeah.
At some point during that 4 years, you must have thought, I've bitten off more than I can chew.
There were times where I did indeed think that. But then you get to a point and it's like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Hang on, do you just spend most evenings, do you have dinner, feed the dog, and then you just sit for 2 hours and draw your map?
Pretty much.
You don't get to go out or
I do,
go to the cinema or
I do have a life.
Visit your family. I'm spending the entire weekend updating my map.
If there's a deadline coming up, because what I do is I tend to like overcommit. So the publisher will say, when do you think it's going to be ready? I'm like,
4 years.
Oh, next year. Oh, yeah, next year seems like ages away. And then before you know it, it is next year.
It is next year.
Oh, I kind of said it'd be ready by the summer. So there are times where I just dip in and out, or if I've overcommitted, I end up spending a lot of my spare time doing it.
So does that mean that you might never update the Liverpool and Manchester one?
Oh, no, I will.
You still got the .cdr file on your hard drive?
Of course.
Okay.
So I've done the vast bulk of the work. I mean, so the hard bit is obviously doing a brand new title. Keeping it updated is relatively easy. Yeah. I mean, you have to re-research and draw bits, and I always like to add a bit of value. So I might extend the coverage a bit, maybe taking crew. I don't know. I mean, I think it is important to offer a little bit of added value each time. So that's the third title. And I've now taken over the late great Stuart Baker, taken over his Atlas series. So I had a bit of a hand in the 15th that came out 2021, I think. Not too sure.
Is that breaking news, by the way? I knew that, but did people know that you know that you're taking on that work?
People may not. Okay. So I may have used a social media platform to share just a couple of little excerpts.
I'm trying to think, it was up to revision 15 or 16, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was up to 15, so I'm working on 16 now.
So that is a bit of breaking news. So that might be out.
I'm trying to get it out in time for Christmas.
Do I sound like your publisher? When will that be finished?
I'm like, no, I'm pretty confident. I've nearly finished the mapping. I just need to index it.
Now, will that sort of carry Baker's name, which would be lovely to get that, or will it then, and it will tag on your name as well? How will that work?
I can't officially reveal either way because it's not ultimately my decision, but I would love it to be the Baker Atlas.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think it's very important that Stuart's legacy carries on. So
amazing.
That'd be my choice.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay. I mean, in case you haven't realised, the maps are just, I'm talking to YouTube, they're incredibly detailed. You should all go grab a copy.
Thank you.
But, I mean, do you think they'll be around in 100 years' time? Do you worry that people just have a PDF on their tablet or whatever? Or, are we looking for a day when people don't have paper hardback book atlases anymore?
I think it's a very interesting question. I must say, as a digital, interactive, zoom in, zoom out thing, it works beautifully. It does work really, really well. But I guess purely from a sales angle, as soon as it becomes digital and is out there, then it's free reign, isn't it? So I think there is something to having a physical copy of something. But I guess, yeah, trends over time, it might become less and less a thing.
And like, is it in the British Library, or have you ever had anybody say in the railway world, oh, we use your book at work? You know, have you had any sort of people kind of be like, this is a really useful tool?
Yeah, someone sent an email saying we used it to plan a stock move from this depot to that
Really?
depot. So
Where was it? Where was that?
It was from like Hornsey depot. I think it was like an unusual.
Somebody at GTR used your book to be like, oh, look, lads, we can reverse off number 12 and come back in on 13.
It was something like that. I know that Hornsey was definitely involved, and this was some years ago, to be fair.
I really want the Hornsey Depot to have a copy of your book on their shelf. Yeah.
Well thumbed.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like greasy oil thumbprints on the book. That's really good. Okay. That's amazing. Anything else you want to mention about the Atlas? Well, when I ask people about this, I mean, rather than just click on the A to Z site, where can people get your book from, Geoff? And I will put a link in the description. Direct from the publisher?
I would love it if you could go to cressy.co.uk and buy it straight from them. And also one other cheeky little thing. I do a fun fact about London's railway history a day on X. And I am Joe Brown London on X if you want to follow me.
So it's a fun, not just about a tube fact, or like a train fact.
Anything kind of railway history linked. So this is the beauty of having the Word version of the index of the Atlas. I can search it by dates, put out a fun fact, find a picture, chuck it in.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to bring the history to life, you see.
So by now I would have popped that up on screen as a caption and stuff, and people can find it on there. Also, I'd forgotten, again, a bit of an idiot, I admitted before, at the Pride Wrapped 345 Liz Line train at Paddington. Was that last year?
That was, yes, 2023.
Was it 2023 they were doing that? The week we're filming this, do you know they're doing a Pride Wrapped 378 on the Marlbay line, on the new Marlbay line, coming in September, by the way. But what were you doing there that day at Paddington? It's to do with your work for the LGBT community, correct?
Yes. So we have colleague network groups at Transport for London.
What's that called?
So it's called Outbound. So that's specifically the LGBTQ plus colleague network. So I was the chair from 2021 to 2023.
The chair?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay. You've done loads.
Yes.
You've had a mega career.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Are you aiming for Andy Lord's job? Sorry, Andy. Is that what you're doing secretly?
Andy, your job's safe.
You've had a great career. You've done loads of stuff. Sorry, go on.
No, thank you. But I guess I don't do things by halves. So, like, if I want to do something, I kind of give it my all. Okay. So, I was chair for 2 years, and it was just literally the most nourishing, eye-opening, rewarding thing I've ever done. It was absolutely fab. And I knew that my tenure, as they all are, would only be for 2 years.
Why is that? Why did you step down after 2 years?
I think it's because it's almost like there is a bit of an allowance of time. So officially 20% of your working time, because it is officially recognised, is devoted to the colleague network. But in reality, in particular this time last year, in the run-up to Pride, it was like a full-time job on top of the full-time job. It was a lot. And all of that said, I really enjoyed it, to the point that I didn't really want it to end. And so something that I thought was probably a bit of a gap in the market was having a network of the networks in transport. So all of the rail companies, aviation, maritime, whoever, have their own LGBTQ plus network, but you tend to operate in a bit of a silo. So you arrange your events and, what are we going to do for Pride? And it's all very much goodwill and vapours and operating in isolation. And what I recognised was if we all started speaking to each other, then we could just share webinars with each other and come together and support each other. And so I had this little brainwave that we could probably try and link together a few of us. And I had no idea it would take off. So I was thinking, like, what kind of name could we have? Transport. And I thought movement, and I was like, bowel movement. I was like, no. And I thought, journey.
Okay, good. Yeah,
we are all on a personal journey of identity, irrespective of what our background is.
Yeah.
We're all on a journey, and even if you're an LGBTQ plus ally, rather than being LGBTQ plus, you're on a journey of learning. So it felt like a very appropriate name. So, just started holding meetings, and more people are coming in.
So, but you created Journey.
Yeah.
You were like, one day, again, like your A to Z.
Yeah.
See how I've linked the stories together?
Thank you.
What did you have a tracing paper moment with Journey? Yeah, and then was it on your wall and then your mum tore it down and threw it away? Okay, that'll make no sense
quite.
if you haven't seen the previous gag that I did 20 minutes ago. Okay, right.
So make sure they both stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was very much this kind of, oh, that could be a good idea, that could work, but you don't really know until you try, right? So you just need to like have a bit of courage, conviction, put a bit of effort and energy behind it, and just see if it works, and it really, really has. So we've done some really good.
Like what? Like what kind of stuff do you do? What
so we've done like in-person events, because some of our partners like are very generously able to lay on an event, give us a meeting space. So we've had speakers in. Dan Glass is actually doing the Mildmay train tomorrow. Came and spoke for us a couple of weeks ago. Someone called Julian Howes, who you may or may not.
I saw Julian last week. Oh, this point we should flash up the iconic
place
picture.
of Earls Court. Yes.
They were talking at the LTM.
Yes.
Last week.
Of course. Yes.
Were you there?
I wasn't. No,
it was amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you should have gone.
But yeah, so Julian came and spoke for us. We're doing a picnic in St James's Park in a couple of weeks, and it just really is about just all of the network leaders coming together and mutual support, sharing resources, sharing ideas.
Okay. So if people want to like sort of get involved with that again, webpage or Twitter, like
so Journey, the webpage is just about to launch. Exciting news.
Wow. Again, has this more breaking news?
More breaking news.
Is this why we're doing the video?
No, not at all. But we're
doing the video because I just wanted to be a nerd about your map, basically. That's the main reason why. and because I knew that I had a kindred spirit in coral draw.
Yeah.
that's what.
The last two people.
That's what I've learned from today.
There you go.
We're the last two people to use coral draw.
Listen, it works. I can draw lines from A to B, make them different colours, make them different weights, and put text on there. It's literally all I need to be able to do.
That's what I do for the maps in my videos. I just draw them nicely.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. So
it's fine.
Journey website about to launch.
Yeah, Journey website about to launch. We do. There is a Journey LGBTQ plus and transport company on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Which you can look at. But yeah, I'm really excited for the website because you're going to be able to see the events and just galleries. Like, this is Pride season. It's been so amazing. Like we must have had, as Journey as a group, we must have had 25, 30 different prides around the country that we've had people at. And it is, it's just really, really nice to see something that was just like this little in the shower moment thought, oh, that'd be good. And then,
whilst you're looking at your shower curtain with your map printed on it. Yeah.
Inspired by it.
Yeah. I genuinely have a London Underground tube map as my shower curtain.
I can well believe it.
So every day I stand in the shower. But of course, the funny thing is that it's in reverse because it's printed on the outside. So instead of Tottenham Court Road, I read it backwards, whatever.
So do you know all of the station names backwards?
At this point it would be funny, wouldn't it, if I was to name a tube station backwards and suddenly my mind's going blank. So I'm trying to do Balham backwards. That would be Malhab. There we go.
Or Droff Tarts is Stratford. I'll just work that out.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. You can both see our brains going. Think of a funny word backwards. That doesn't sound rude.
Bow, wob. I don't know.
What one?
Bow, wob.
Bow does become but it's Bromley by Bow. You got to do that. No, it's Bow Road.
Roads.
Bow Road. Hang on.
You can have either.
What's road backwards? R-O-A-D-A door mob. What?
Door wob.
Wow, this interview has gone totally crazy.
A strange turn.
The video has just descended now. I've edited there because Joe and I just spent 5 minutes naming tube stations backwards. What's coral draw backwards? That's become the running thing. Gag. Right, so links below in the description for Journey, for your book. Buy from the publisher.
Please do.
Anything else you want to add? Has this been okay? This has been fun.
It's been absolutely brilliant. It's been absolute
pleasure.
pleasure.
Apart from the occasional plane flying,
screeching,
about.
Wheel flange noise in the background.
I love a wheel flange noise. That's great, isn't it?
I don't know if it gets picked up, but
are you allowed to sit out here with a laptop and do a bit of work sometimes?
I see no reason why not. I mean,
that'd be great.
I don't know if the Wi-Fi works out here. I haven't actually tried it.
Just drag a cable out. Just get an Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. You say 2020. I remember when the internet was on a cable.
Yeah.
There's none of this Wi-Fi nonsense.
I know.
Well, that didn't come along until 97. Right, Joe, a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Please go and have a look at the website. Go have a look at the incredibly detailed London Atlas and the Midlands one.
And Liverpool, Manchester.
Sadly not the out of print one, but it's amazing. It's like there's so much detail. And if you love your railways, all railways, it's a fantastic map.
Thank you.
Atlas to buy. That's it. You can probably wave goodbye now and I'll fade out or something. Thanks very much.
Thanks for watching.